It's a poison! That doesn't help the stress level! No, don't do it! Get a grip! This stupid video I just showed you! I almost stroked out and died over it! You're watching a different show! It's donkey! You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship! Don't do this to me, Harry! The Ohio State, it's Ohio State! What do you mean, the? 312-988-15.
Hello?
You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Welcome in. Welcome back, folks. Notre Dame's November playoff push continues. The anxiety is high. The stress is high. The intensity is high. I'm just glad Notre Dame's in the mix. Like, before we get into anything we want to get into about, I'm worried about this. If Notre Dame's going to succeed, they got to be better at that. Whatever it is. All those little things that worry you, that you're anxious about. What if you get in the playoff, you face these good teams, these problems are going to be magnified. Before we do all that, I want to just say, considering you started out 0-2, that Notre Dame is in the best possible position you could be in this year. It's easy to get lost in the moment. It's easy to get lost in the moment, and it happens to me too. But if you really look at the journey we took from that 0-2 start to where Notre Dame is now, man, the odds were not very good that you would end up in this position at this point in the year. And so there's two different ways to look at it. Number one is, it is what it is. You lost to 2, get it. You just got to get in the dance, and then anything can happen. The bigger picture thing is, don't lose your first 2 games. You wouldn't be sweating it down the line. You would have a little leeway. Maybe you're in position for a home game or even a bye if you do the really do the right things, whatever. You can't lose your first 2 games. But I'm saying this is all gravy, baby. This is all gravy for an 0-2 start. For you to fight back into this position is awesome. It is as good as you could do for the failures we had early in the season. That being said, you got to clean some things up if you think you're going to, win out. By the way, we're not in the playoff tomorrow. You still have 2 more games to play. And this isn't lost on me, right? This is not. Listen, we all built Pitt up. Because they are the best team remaining on the schedule. We all built it up, whatever. I'm just saying, you got 2 more games to play. And the Angeli or whatever, the Angeli Bowl, it was supposed to be in Stanford. You still have 2 more to play. We're not going to forget about that. Dr. John says, I thought only conference champs could get a bye. Am I wrong, or was that not changed? Dr. John, I believe that rule was revamped. And it's isn't it the top teams get the bye? It isn't just conference champs. I believe in the summer they redid that. Yeah, I'm not crazy. They changed that in the offseason. Notre Dame's eligible for a bye now. So, yeah, the top 4 teams get a bye regardless of where they come from or whatever. Yeah, Dr. John was too busy in the hot tub after 36 holes of golf. I don't blame him. Good for him. Yeah, so they changed that. So, but anyways, all I'm saying is, you guys, man, I'm not a genius. I'm not the smartest guy in any room. I don't pretend to be, but I know my audience. I had some things on my list I wanted to go over today, and you guys, before I even get going in the introduction, you guys are nailing them. And you're right on it about the good parts about everything about where Notre Dame is. and the parts that kind of worry you, we're right there. So let's get into this. So 2 things I want to know today from you guys. First off, I'm going to get this link here. The link is in the description. Anybody that wants to jump on, hit the link. We'll bring you on. Here's a couple things that I'm wondering about. I do want your reactions from the Pitt game. I want to continue that. Reactions from that game. If you want to look ahead to Syracuse, Notre Dame, 35.5 is a lot. Is it not? Adam Dowling and I were just texting before the show. 35.5 is a lot, even with Syracuse being iffy and not that good and whatever else. That's a lot of points. So if you want to talk about Pitt, talk about Pitt. You want to talk about what's coming up with Syracuse, feel free. 35 is a lot. I know it's home, and I guess that they don't have their starting quarterback who used to be fighting to be your starting quarterback. They don't have that. That's part of it. If you want to talk about Syracuse, we could do that. Here's the other thing, too. I really want to know what you guys think is coming in the next playoff rankings. This is going to be very interesting with Oklahoma beating Alabama. And you know Oklahoma is going to jump, and I don't think anybody here has a problem with that. Okay? We all understand that was a big win. Number 4 team on the road, whatever. We get it. So Oklahoma is going to jump Notre Dame, and I don't really think anybody has a problem with that. The real question is, how far down does Alabama fall? That's the question. The question is not, is Oklahoma going to jump Notre Dame? Wrap that around your mind. They're going to jump Notre Dame. The question here is, how far down does Alabama fall? And it would be a big deal if Alabama's 1 spot behind or 1 spot ahead of Notre Dame. That could be a big deal. Now, the other argument is, if you look at this bracket situation and how it breaks out, could you argue Notre Dame may actually be in a better position if they're lower, if you want to avoid Ohio State or whatever? Like, I'm not smart enough to know how that all breaks out or whatever. But I have seen some people take it the next level and say, John, maybe you want to go down a little bit and then you maybe would avoid Ohio State till the end or something like that. I don't know. Bama 9, Notre Dame 10. Yeah. And so, but here's the other thing you got to keep in mind. The issue is it gets confusing at the bottom of the bracket because they have those 11 and 12 teams penciled in, but that's not who it would be if the playoffs started, because the 11 and 12 spot are like predetermined for the group of 5 team and a conference champion who's not even going to be ranked in the top 12. Am I wrong about this? So it is a little confusing because they've been penciling in those 11 and 12 teams, but then also making a note of like, yeah, but those wouldn't be the teams in the playoff because we've allotted these spots to the group of 5. What are they going to be ranked? 50th, but they're the highest group of 5, so we put them in however that works. Or is it going to be Navy knocking off South Florida and that helps Notre Dame? Is Navy back in position to be the whatever non-group of 4 team or whatever? Because that would probably help Notre Dame. South Florida was in pole position for that spot. Then they lose to Navy. So I don't know. So that's going to be interesting. But there's an argument, James Madison. I just couldn't. Do they need to do a thing where you want to invite that non-power 4 team or whatever, give the little guy a chance? But do they need to have some barrier where, like, to be able to trigger that, you got to be ranked like 15th or higher or something, and then it triggers that? Like, I don't know, man. Like, I understand wanting to be fair and giving the little guy a chance. I totally understand all that. But shouldn't... like, you can't put the 30th ranked team in there just because you promised them, but there's all those other teams better. I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking maybe there needs to be a threshold that team needs to clear to be considered to get that spot. I don't know. So there's a lot going on. And I think tomorrow's playoff reveal is going to be very, very interesting. Here's the other discussion that's come up about this, and we'll get into it. The Miami Notre Dame head-to-head. I am seeing some people write and say, well, now Miami's turned it on and they look like they may win out or whatever. Maybe it's time for them to creep up the rankings, and then we got to revisit that Notre Dame head-to-head. I don't understand that theory. We'll get to it, but I have trouble philosophically making that all make sense given where the committees put these teams and what they've said. If I'm a Miami fan, I'm pissed, let's be honest. But here's the other thing, though. That head-to-head matchup it's not the only factor. If you have two losses, you have to also measure in the other loss. And Notre Dame's is significantly better than theirs. Does that not count? Like, I don't look at it as two losses. The losses, it's the same. And then you look at the head-to-head. What you do in the other one matters. So I don't know. And then it's like, here's where I'm at. Let's do the Miami thing now. I see some of you guys in the chat waiting to jump on. And yeah, you guys jump on board. Here's my argument against this. If the committee already made the decision that the Notre Dame head-to-head wasn't the end-all be-all, and Notre Dame was trending up, being more consistent, playing more solid football, that was their argument, right? Notre Dame's trending up, playing really good ball, hasn't lost for months, whatever. Rodney, where'd you go? Come back, bro. Log back in. So if that was the argument, right? Like Notre Dame's playing better, they're on a winning streak. Miami's lost a couple games, they've been up and down, and we just think Notre Dame's being more consistent, playing good football. What has changed? I don't understand. So, okay, now Miami's also playing better football, and Notre Dame's continuing to play better football. And you said that was better before, and Notre Dame's been consistent. Now Miami's starting to play better too. Cool. You already made the determination about that, Dad. Notre Dame keeps playing good. Why would that change the philosophy? That doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand how you would change the philosophy later on. Notre Dame's still playing good ball. If Notre Dame was trending down, then you could make that argument. But if you already made that determination and Notre Dame's playing good football, how do you change it? And also, Miami's got to worry about the teams that are going to be in between Notre Dame and Miami, right? So you also have to worry about that, the teams that are going to be in between. So, and how many teams does Miami even have to fight through to get up to the 12 or whatever, right? And then the other factor is, tell me if I'm wrong. I don't know. I ain't no conference expert. We're independent, damn it. Here's the other part. I don't think, is Miami in line for the ACC title game or not with their losses? So I don't think they're in line to be in the ACC championship. So theoretically, that wouldn't be able to help them have an extra game or whatever. I don't know. But I don't get how, if you made the determination and Notre Dame keeps playing good and now Miami's starting to play good, I don't see how that changes how you perceive that head-to-head. Just because Miami started playing good now, it doesn't make sense to me. But I don't know. And if you have any complaints about this as a Notre Dame fan, I have an answer for you. Don't lose 2 games. Like, I'm sorry. If Notre Dame ends up the first team out or whatever, don't lose 2 games. That's your fault. You played no defense against a team that's being pumped up as one of the best in the country that hasn't lost a game in the SEC. And you played no defense and lost to them by a point. Like, don't lose 2 games and you don't have these problems. So I don't know what to tell you, man. Hope it holds and hope you keep winning. What do you know, John? That's a good question. Sometimes I ask myself that as well. So there's a lot to discuss here. I'm open to Andrew saying they put these teams into what, pods or groups or whatever. Fine. And then Miami would be in the pod with Notre Dame. What? Cool. Does that your magical grouping of a pod change what you said before? Cool. Group them all together all you want. It changes nothing of the reasoning they said of why Notre Dame was out of Miami. Put them in the same pod all you want. It doesn't change your argument. Notre Dame's continued to play good football. And then the other, then you start thinking, here's the other part of this. The Miami game. The Miami game was, I don't care what it looks like, find a way to win it. The A&M game was, I don't care what it looks like, find a way to win it. The USC game, I don't care what it looks like, find a way to win it. The Pitt game, I don't care what it looks like, you needed to find a way to win it. The remaining 2 games are not that. I'm telling you, the standard is different for the final 2 games. All of those games were you just need to win it and you're fine and it doesn't matter what it looks like. I think the remaining 2 games, you got to pile it on. I think you need to make sure you don't just win the 2 and it's like annoying and you make a bunch of mistakes and it's close. Don't even tempt this committee to get frisky and bump Notre Dame or do anything. I think the remaining 2 games are in a different category where just winning, I don't think is going to satisfy people. You need to kick shit out of people. Okay? You need to kick some people's heads in these final 2 games. So not all games are built the same, you guys. Some of them are just win it and get out no matter what. As long as you win them, that's all I need. These remaining 2 games, I don't think are that. They're not ranked teams. They're not good teams. You're not going to get a lot of credit. You will get discredited if these games are closer than they should be. So, Carr, no pick sixes. Like, when you're in the red zone, you got to score. Like, you need to, God forbid, you make a field goal. I know I'm getting crazy saying that, but God forbid you make a field goal. Like, you need to beat the hell out of these final 2 teams, I think, just to leave no doubt here with what we're doing. So there's a lot to get into. There's a lot to talk about. I see a bunch of you guys on hold, so let me get through the introduction, do a couple chats, and then we'll go to you guys. We'll see what you think. If you're on hold, you're going to be on the air. As always, you can find the program on YouTube. Do it. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Appreciate it. Give the video a thumbs up. That helps Johnny as well. Notifications on. That way you don't miss nothing. Twitter, search bar Always Irish or Always Irish Inc. Emails alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only. Anywhere you want it, you can get it. If you don't want to see my face, who could blame you for that? Get your podcast wherever you choose. Notre Dame on SI. Read all about it. I got an article for you every single day of your life. Patreon.com/Always Irish. Looking forward to a playoff push. I hope we have it, baby. Monday Night Raw tonight. Link in the description. Join us if you haven't yet. What a fantastic community, man. What a fantastic community. So I don't know. This is going to be really interesting down the stretch. But again, anyone that ends up frustrated with where Notre Dame ends up in this playoff field or out of it or whatever is going to happen, don't lose your first 2 games. You can't really blame anybody but yourself. You can't not know what you're doing on defense first 2 games. Sorry. It was still this year. It was a long time ago. But, man, it all counts, and it hurts. Could you imagine Notre Dame, even with just 1 loss, how comfortable of a position you would be in? So that's your fault. That is your fault. All right, let's do a couple chats. Then we'll bring in our guests here that are on hold. C. Jones. What exactly happened to Notre Dame's defense after the first two games that got them to this point? Well, number one is they made some misevaluations in August camp that surprised me. One of the things we've been saying this Notre Dame staff was really gifted at was their evaluations and knowing what they had in recruiting and in the building. They made some big miscalculations of who could handle what and play where and what they were going to run. And it took a few games to figure it out. And it cost you bad. Notre Dame needs to relook at how they evaluate August because they made some bad decisions. They had guys out there playing that couldn't play and couldn't play in those positions in those spots. So one is learning the personnel. And then number two, Ash learning what he needs to run, the blend of zone and man and what they could do and when. And it's been getting tighter by the week, but it took a while to figure out. Sly Fox, good morning, always Irish Nation. Loving Fields made plays out there Saturday that for years as a fan base we'd watch other teams do against us. ND showed the country we're nobody to mess with. Sly Fox, this is why I love you. This is literally word for word one of my bullet points today. It's literally word for word one of my main bullet points to go over is, you know how things are changing in Notre Dame land? We're starting to make plays and have the players that make plays that always used to get made against us. The game's on the line, those highlight plays, a diving one-handed grab, the spin-a-roonies that Love does, all this stuff. For too many decades, I am used to Notre Dame being in these big game moments and the other team has these star, ridiculous athletes making big plays. It feels damn good to have Notre Dame having some of those guys and not just one. That's another thing too. You got Love doing it in the run game and you have Fields doing it in the pass game. It feels damn good to have those guys making those kind of plays. Sly, this is why I love you. Word for word, that is one of my bullet points, that it's just, it shows you that the talent level's changing in South Bend, that we have some of those guys now. Really good point, Sly. Of course I'm going to say that because it was on my bullet point as well. Domer Guy 88. You guys think Bama will be ahead or behind Notre Dame tomorrow? I say ahead of us. There's an argument for them to be ahead of you. And I think that argument is, you lost to a really, really good team. It's only your second loss, whatever. There's also an argument for them to be behind Notre Dame of you got to get penalized heavily when you lose in November. It's got to be costly to lose in November. It just does. It's got to be very penal, so to speak, when you lose in November. And then here's number two. This committee always talks about like how you look and the game control and how you're playing and all this crap. I don't know if they mean it or not, but they talk about it. Alabama played a really bad game. They looked sloppy. They made a ton of really bad mistakes. And I wonder if that's a part of it too. If they played a clean, tight game and lost at the very end by a field goal to Oklahoma, that is different to me than you had a home game with the playoff on the line and you made a bunch of sloppy, bad game-losing mistakes. You didn't play a good, clean football game. I wonder if they look at that and go, Notre Dame hasn't lost in months and they're trending straight up. They're ahead of Alabama. They're playing better right now. I don't know how this goofball committee's going to look at it. I don't know how this goofball committee's going to look at that. This is another one. I was trying to think of another time where I could remember me rooting for USC so hard. Because if USC beats Oregon, then that's another spot that opens up that Notre Dame could be safely in or whatever. So I think there's a lot of Notre Dame people that are going to root for Southern Cal to beat Oregon. And then it's like, well, then USC moves up with 2 losses. Yeah, but Notre Dame has a head-to-head. And it's a little different than the Miami head-to-head argument over Notre Dame because Notre Dame beat them and has been trending straight up, playing good the whole time. They got to be – you don't have that argument. that Notre Dame's fallen off or whatever, lost a couple games later in the year. You don't have that argument against Notre Dame. So did Notre Dame people want USC to knock out Oregon or what? The only thing I hate isn't that game in the exact window as our game? So you're stuck there watching Notre Dame, Syracuse, sleepy, cold senior day. I wish that game was in a window where we could give it all of our attention. So I don't know. I'm going to give, if you're on hold, you're going to be on the air. I got to give Ash a ton of credit for how the defense is looking lately, but prove it to me in the playoffs against top team. I need to see this defense show out where the lights are brightest. I hope we get to that point. Our sideways offense is going to be a real issue if it's not changed. Where's all that creativity and explosivity we were promised with Denbrock? Here's the thing, man. I watch a lot of college football. I see teams throw that easy little flare to the sideline and gain 8 yards on it all the time, every Saturday. It's just never us. Years and years and years, this has been a thing where I see teams all over throw that little flare out to the sideline and the guy gets 8 yards right along. It's just never us. It's throwing away a play for no yards. Maybe Carr gets a completion and it's for a half a yard. There's never any proper blocking out there. It's just that play has not worked for Notre Dame for 25 years. Any of those little, just flare it out to the flat, and that it's like throwing away a play. But I don't understand because I see it work all over the country with a bunch of different teams for 25 years. Every time we do it, our guy's tackled for no gain right where he catches the ball. I don't get it. I don't know if it's a blocking issue or what. But it's supremely frustrating. It is supremely frustrating. It's not Steve Angeli week, praise the Lord. Yeah, that would be the big narrative. And then they would build it up just like they built Pitt up. They would build this up of Angeli's coming back to ruin the team's dreams. It said he wasn't good enough to start. It would be a whole thing. And I'm just glad you could avoid it. Rudy, it's good to see you here. It's good to see you. Yeah, goal line. People are mentioning goal line issues. That's still an issue. O-line inability to get 1 or 2 yards, crucial situation, maybe the downfall of the team. I don't know if Billy changes that when he comes back. This team is flawed. This team is not perfect. They're going to have to tighten things up if they get in the playoff. But damn, I mean, I'm just glad you're in the position you're in. But this is far from a polished, perfect unit. Wide receiver screen is the worst play in the history of organized sport. It is for us. I see other teams run it successfully multiple times every Saturday. It's just not us. 25 years, that play's never worked for us. Doesn't seem to matter who the players are, what team it is, what coaches. It doesn't work for us. I don't get it. I see teams run it and get chunks all the time. It's just never us. I don't know what to tell you. Let's do super chats, then we'll get to you guys. New catchphrase, Jesus Price, all we need is love, and in John we trust. Printed on the money. I like it, Ed Page. Thank you. $2 holler from Rodney. This team has potential to be better than the last. Well, here's what I like about it. Notre Dame maybe being on the precipice of being a playoff team and being able to run the ball at times. I still want them to be more efficient and effective, but run the ball and throw the ball and play good defense. Nobody's seen that in the playoff from a Notre Dame team. That's what's different. You have your issues. You have your complaints. Kicking, short game yardage, the O-line's banged up. Like, there are things to worry about. But I'm just saying, a Notre Dame program that can run the ball, throw the ball, and play good defense is a Notre Dame team nobody's seen in the playoffs before. That would be totally new. All the Notre Dame teams that have made the playoff in the Kelly era and then last year, it was play good defense, run the ball. But if Notre Dame's got to throw it, there's no belief they could burn you. That's different this year. That changes things. Notre Dame has flaws. They could be fatal flaws in the playoff. But a Notre Dame team that features those three things would be new. $5 holler. Notre Dame on their best day, no penalties, make field goals between 1 and 50 yards. They could beat anybody left. All you got to do is get in the playoff and anything's possible. Literally, all you got to do is get in the tournament and anything could happen. If they want to win, they have to run it on first and the inch line. Figure it out. You just got to figure it out. And the scary part is, you say to figure it out. This has been an issue all year. We have 2 games left. It's almost Thanksgiving. Like, that's the issue. Any hope you add of like, oh, Notre Dame will figure this out. Denbrock will figure out a rhythm. Like, they'll figure something out. No, not really, because this has been an issue the entire year. Just like the kicking. It's been an issue the entire year. And that could burn you in the playoff, but you got to make it there to even find out. And I'm still open to the idea that if Notre Dame makes the playoff, you'll have that window of time between the end of the regular season and the playoff to get some guys healthy. Hopefully along the offensive line and hopefully on the defense too. Hopefully you get Rubio back. Like, I don't know. So it's a complicated thing. Let's see what you guys think. Good morning, Rodney. What's up, buddy?
Hey, John. How are you, man? How are you?
I'm doing really, really well, man. Like Notre Dame took care of the business they needed to Saturday, but these rankings are changing. It's going to be interesting. What do you make of it all? The Pitt game and what's coming maybe in these rankings tomorrow?
Well, that Pitt game just showed me, score. Like you were saying, if you just took the score before the game, I don't know any Notre Dame fan that would not say, yeah, I'll take it. Sure. Yep. 22 points, double the spread. Yeah. As you're watching it, because our mind's level of expectations are now rising, we nitpick a little bit. Those are legitimate nitpicks, by the way. But John, I know I say this a lot and I repeat myself, but John, just think of where we were just a few years ago before Freeman got here. Kelly's teams were really good. They were really solid, but they weren't elite. We all knew that deep down, or we knew at least their talent wasn't elite. We were hoping, okay, maybe you get in the playoffs and a couple breaks go your way if they can be real disciplined. But John, I've been saying this for a couple of years now, and now I'm really seeing it. You're seeing it all over the field. Notre Dame has reached the level where we are at, like I said, we're in the elite category as far as talent now, where the players on the field look like elite talent. I mean, Jeremiah Love, dude, I don't know that I was thinking about this last night. I've never seen a player, certainly for Notre Dame, I'd have to really think this through. I don't think it's fair to say ever in college, but for Notre Dame, in the modern era, a guy with that kind of speed, with that kind of balance and explosiveness and power.
Yeah.
In one package. I mean, when he made that spin move, there was no readjusting his body. It literally was spin, go. That was amazing, man. And I'm telling you, that guy it would be a travesty if he was not in New York at the end of the year. Whether he wins it or not, probably doesn't have the numbers, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But boy, tell me there's a better player in college football. I mean, you talk about a guy right now in the top 5 players who I think is going to make it at the next level. I always say, barring some stupid, horrible injury that happens in the NFL to him or whatever, like an Achilles or something, Jeremiah Love's going to be a major, major player in the NFL for years. We're going to hear his name he's just so good, dude.
You're Rodney. I think of 2 different things that are evidence of what you're saying. Number one is when Notre Dame plays the better teams, like in the playoff run last year, physically Notre Dame can hang with all those teams. We are no longer in the wilderness of the only chance we have to beat this team is if they make 80 mistakes, because we know we don't have enough guys to match up. Those days are over. Notre Dame can hang with these teams athletically. And then here's evidence number 2 of where this program's risen to. Notre Dame now has winning margin to where even if they don't play crystal clean games
Yeah.
against middle tier and lower teams, they could still cover the spread and win by a lot. That's that winning margin where you could get done with the game, you cover the spread, win by a lot, double digits, and then go, man, you still messed up 6 major things that should have been cleaned up. You have winning margin now to not be that sharp and blow teams out and win by a lot. The program's rising, but Rodney, it's all got to come together one of these years to get it over the damn hump.
I know, but here, and like the Boston College game, case in point, Byron Kelly loses that game. He loses that game at the end, or they barely win. They, get a last second field goal. You know what I'm saying? Like the margins made that a 15-point victory, where in the past, just a few years ago, that would have been a 3-point win or a 1 point, you know what I'm saying? Or 1 point loss, or just barely escaping. And Malachi Fields, dude, he made 2 plays in that game. That's like, I knew Malachi Fields was going to be a really good wide receiver, but
what a pickup.
He's now looking. I mean, again, stats is because he's not going to have the stats because of the balance on the offense.
Yeah,
but that's an All-America type of receiver right there. I mean, he looks like an All-America type of receiver.
Yeah, and that's an amazing portal pickup for Notre Dame. His presence and Pauling as well to a lower extent, but
and Pauling and Faison, and I mean, and that's not even getting into the offensive line and all. I'm just saying, like, and then you go to the defensive side of the ball, and they're all over the place, John. I mean, you got Tay Johnson now looking like probably the next Xavier Watson next year or two. And you got this linebacking core looks so athletic. The defensive line is really, really solid and probably going to be the strength or one of the strengths of the team next year. I don't know, man. It's just talent-wise, we're I don't want to say we're there, but I think we're there. You know what I mean? We're there now. Man, now we got to just clean up all this other stuff.
So now Notre Dame's got 2 winnable games, 35.5 point favorite against Syracuse. Do you feel like Notre Dame needs to pile it on in these final 2 and leave no doubt to stay in this bracket? Or do you just think winning is enough? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, John, you can't be saying we're talking about the margins within the game, but the margins within making the playoffs are a little more, they're a little closer than that, right?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Yeah, you don't want to win by 7 points this weekend. I mean, that's not a good sign if you do that, right? But I think if you win by, 20 or more, you're fine. I really believe that. And they'll probably win by more than that, of course. John, this is what I'm thinking. It's kind of like, okay, you allocate a conference champion from every one of the big 4. Everybody's saying, 5 SEC teams, maybe 6 SEC teams. If it comes down between a 6th SEC team and Notre Dame's getting in. Because I think the representation matters here. Okay, especially the criteria, it's not just one thing or this thing, it's all of it put together. Your point about Miami was a great one. It's like, had Miami continued to be playing good at that time, they probably still would be ranked ahead of us. But because they fell and we rose, that was the first game of the year. People scoff off the first game of the year, a lot of the time. And I think it's fair to say, by the way, you're telling me that Notre Dame team that played in game 1 is the same as the one that played now? I mean, there's no doubt that's not the same team. Certainly not the same defense, okay? And then the fact that they lose a 1-point game to A&M, and I know A&M just had to come back and score, 28 points to win or whatever the other day. Good on them. I mean, good for them to do that. But I mean, this parity, it's just there are so many thin lines deciding between which, who's number 3 versus who's number 10. But the point is, a Notre Dame team looking the way they're looking, they are not going to get left out of the playoffs, John. I mean, they're just not.
Yeah, it's
they may get in at the last seed, but I guarantee the committee will put them in at the last seed if that's what it means. Because looks too good not to be left there. And there's going to be plenty enough representation from the Big Ten and the SEC, and then whatever the automatic qualifiers are in the Big 12 and ACC or whatever, Notre Dame's going to get in.
It's going to be really interesting. And there could still be some twists and turns to people losing. You didn't think we're going to lose. Like, let's see what the next 2 weeks bring. But For the 0-2 start, this team is doing about as good as you could possibly ask for putting themselves behind the 8 ball. Rodney, anything else? I like you touching base on Monday mornings, getting us started.
Yeah. No, John, that's it, man. It's just, again, I say it all the time, but it's such an exciting, fascinating college football just never ceases to keep our interest, man. Like no other sport. It's crazy. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
What can I say?
It really is. And it is a blessing to be in the playoff hunt by this time of the year. There's so many fan bases that are already looking to next year. Their season's over. They're just crossing off the weeks. It really is a blessing that you have a program that's in the hunt again this late and the games still matter. Like, let's not take that for granted. It's a big deal and a place we've wanted to be for a long time. Rodney, thanks so much for joining in the donation. Hopefully we'll see you soon, buddy.
You got it, man. Take care, John.
Have a good one. Have a good start to the day there. Oh, boy. Can the tush push be used for short yardage? Dude, the other thing I've thought about is, do you not trust, if you're down in that goal line and you don't want Carr to run to get banged up, or that's not a natural strength or gift of his, do you want me to think you couldn't, like, why can't you snap the ball to Raritan and have that big body fall forward for a foot, for 6 inches? Like, I'm just thinking of like the most boring way to get it accomplished when you're on like the 1 foot line. Could you not have Raritan's huge frame get a snap under center and fall forward? Do we not trust him to do that? Do we not trust him to do that? Like, or Minchie or Buckner or anything. Like, if we're down to this point and we don't want Carr to do it and get banged up, which he did do later in the game for a touchdown, by the way, finally kept it and ran it. Aeneas Williams, like, there's a lot of different things here that we haven't exactly tried, but it is beyond frustrating that you have these 2 mega stallion horses in the backfield and you can't just run it in. And here's the other thing, too. One of these years, I would like to see what a Notre Dame playoff team could do in a playoff run with a healthy offensive line. Imagine this offense with a healthy offensive line of your starters all being together all year, of who you wanted them to be, and they're healthy and they're together all year. Maybe a game out here or there for an ankle, but nothing long-term or the whole year or whatever. Damn, it'd be nice. Somebody was talking about Raritan's like a baby giraffe with those legs you can't control because your body's too big and it's out of control. What does this guy got to do to get in the end zone? It's funny watching him run, man. That big old frame. Big old frame. $5 Sully. Patreon is the best place to be if you can't be at the game or a Notre Dame bar watching. The group chat is amazing. We just ride the emotional roller coaster all through the game. Pilney, $10 holler. We got to get the prices right back next year and feature him. No t-shirt tail written into his NIL deal. So he's not a dog sled. I think he would have been gone if that guy didn't get that shirt. Like, I know you're joking, but it's like a real thing to consider, man. Don't give them nothing to grab onto, bro. Don't give them anything to grab onto. It's a good point. Let's go to Dave. He's on the road. What's up, Dave?
I'm just driving over to Sarasota. I hear there's some Syracuse grads over there, and I'm going to see what they think about Notre Dame.
Yeah, let me know what they're gonna say, what they're gonna think.
Will do. I have a call to our entire fan base. I've got 2 points. They're both with regard to Jeremiah Love. Number one, not enough is said that he's putting up these numbers, splitting the time. And all of our media, whether it's you, it's Goolsby, it's Aaron Taylor, and anybody with a voice should be pounding the fact that he's splitting time and still putting up those numbers and the highlights.
Yeah,
I think that's significant. And that also brings up another point, actually. We used to have Roger Valdez-Harris, who was great at banging the drum for Notre Dame. I don't even know the SID's name if we even have one. So that's a problem. And then secondly, there's the Heisman campaign has a fan vote, and the fan vote counts as one vote. Jeremiah Love has less than 1% of the vote, and that's just because our fan base isn't out there clicking the link every day.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
It'd be a shame if he lost by just one vote or he tied. We need to do that as a fan base and just get behind him and support him. That's pretty much all I have to say, other than I'm eating peanut butter and jelly all week long in honor of Steve Angeli.
There you go, man. Hey, drive safe, brother.
Will do. Take care. We'll talk to you. God bless you. God bless everybody listening, and go Irish.
Have a good one, man. Have a good one.
Thank you. Hey, I'm allowed to stay on and listen?
Yeah, I got to remove you. Hit the link again, and you'll go backstage. I just won't pull you up.
Okay.
God bless that guy. Dude, I messed that guy's world up. You guys, you got to understand. I messed that guy's world up when I changed the call-in line to the link, because he's one of the guys that he was the one that used to go around Miami investigating the enemy. And I messed him up because he used to be able to listen on the call line and then hold. Now I messed his world up. It was funny. You guys were saying he's in a Cessna. He ain't driving a car. He's in a plane. That's a new one. We've never had anybody do that from a plane. Eric, what's up? Welcome to the show.
Hey, John. How's it going?
It's going fantastic. Listen, Notre Dame did what they need to do against Pitt. You have 2 winnable games remaining. You're right in the playoff hunt. Things are good in mid-November. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree. I would have liked – I think you hit the nail on the head when it was like, you give me the score at the beginning of the game. It's like, yeah, I'm taking that every day of the week. But the expectation kind of got higher, and then, Narduzzi calls the bullshit timeout at the end and – makes it 15. It's, whatever. But
yeah,
I want to touch a little bit.
There was a couple goofy penalties at the end, and then he refuses to just lay down. He's got to go for it. And then I'm with you, man. It felt like entering the game, you would have taken that winning margin if you were given the chance 100 times out of 100. But once you saw that we were physically dominating them, then you get picky and you want to win by 40. You know what I mean? So it's interesting to me how that changed. Once you saw physically that we were going to push them around, then you wanted the big blowout. So I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. We got kind of greedy, but I want to talk a little bit about what I think the ranking is going to be this week.
Yeah.
I know you said you wanted to hear our thoughts. I think the most likely ranking for us is going to be 9, ahead of Alabama, behind Oklahoma. But I actually think there's a chance we're 8 ahead of both. And people might, think that's crazy. But the thing about Oklahoma is, this is a really good win on the road against Alabama. But they convincingly lost to Texas, who just got thumped by Georgia. And then I think we might get more credit for just, hey, we're a different team than the team that lost to A&M in Miami by 4 points total in the first 2 weeks of the season. I think they might look at us and our schedule and our resume and say, hey, it's a different team. We had a nice road win against a ranked team, and we're going to put them at, 8 or 9. I would be more surprised if we were at 10 than if we were at 8. I'll be honest.
Yeah, it's interesting. So then it's a matter of how much do you credit a good win versus bad losses, right? How do you balance those out?
Yep, exactly. And Florida State is a horrible loss for Alabama. And then I think the Texas loss, it was a convincing loss to a 3-loss SEC team now. So we'll see, but I will say I think the most important thing for us, it's more important that we get 9 because 10, I still think we get into the playoff, but you're playing a little bit with fire with some of those conference championship games with
You
the Big
are,
12.
but the argument is the bracket may actually be more favorable for a Notre Dame throughout the entire bracket if they were 10. So that's the argument. You're playing with fire, but I think everybody kind of has in their mind they want to try and avoid Ohio State as much as possible till later. And like that's the argument. But you're playing with fire if you're the last 10's the cutoff before 11 and 12 go to the automatic. So like you're playing with fire there on the edge.
Yeah, it works both ways. Personally, I'd rather just take the known bid, whether or not we have to go through Ohio State or not. I mean, I think we'd probably have to go through them anyway if we want to win a national championship, right? Because I mean, they look unbeatable right now. So
they look fantastic, man. It feels, you know how you're good as the number one team when you barely get any news coverage. I feel like barely anybody's talking about Ohio State because the games are boring because they win every week by a lot. Like that's how you're the real number one team when there ain't a bunch of drama and you just keep winning and people barely even talk about you.
Yep, that's what they're saying about like the Julian Sand Heisman odds too, where it's like he needs to like do X, Y. Like there's just not enough storylines for him because they're just too good. And so, yeah, that's I think regardless though, we'll have to go through them if we want to win a national championship. So second round or national championship. Don't care. We have to beat them sometime.
You know what? That's a very, very fair point. And listen, like they would be favored. They would have deserved to be favored. They have a big winning streak over you. All of that. Like you could use that if you're Notre Dame, right? Like everybody's picking against us. You're not expected to win. It would have a different feel than last year's matchup. Like, and then you just play your butt off. Anything could happen in one game.
Yep. Agreed. And one final thing I'll say is like, if we get that 8 spot, like there's a chance we slide up to 7 again and we have the same path as last year. I think we'd probably have to play somebody like Utah in that first round, or I don't know who else it would be, but I really think they might give us the credit over Oklahoma and Texas. And the other thing is like, if you just look at like the odds to make the playoff, we're way ahead of Oklahoma and Alabama. That might just be because of our schedule, but I don't know if that's like trying to tell us something of, hey, we might be ranked ahead of them this week.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really interesting. And we'll see. And then what do you feel about, do you think Notre Dame needs to blow the crap out of these final 2 teams just to make sure to be careful to pad that resume? Like the last win that was going to give you any real credibility was Pitt. Do you feel like just winning isn't enough and Notre Dame really needs to pound these final 2 teams?
I think you need to look convincing I think you probably get in the playoff either way, but I think you need to look convincing for seeding purposes. Like we're 35-point favorites. Like if you go out and like you do what we did against Boston College, probably not good enough, especially like the way it looked. Honestly, that Boston College game looked messier than 15 points. So I would like, maybe we don't need to cover the 35, but like, 20 plus would be good.
Yeah. Somewhere in there. And then I don't know, you just kind of see what happens around the country and you just gotta take care of business. It's just good to be in the mix this late and a season where you started off horribly, man. You're blessed to be back in this position and Notre Dame's earned it, but like, it's hard for me to complain about anything when you lose your first 2 games.
Yep, agreed. I mean, 2 losses probably going to get us in this year. I don't know if that's a guarantee every year. So I think it's so hard to predict how some things shake out, but 2 losses will probably get us in this year, might not in future years. So let's not bank on it, right? Let's just win our games and not worry about it. And then the other thing is, I lost my train of thought.
It's a Monday.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's a Monday morning.
Yeah. No. I lost it, John. I'm sorry.
That's fine, man. It's a Monday morning. Why don't you just hit the link again when it comes back to you?
Okay, we'll do.
Hey, thanks a lot for joining, man. Have a good start to your week. Go Irish. Let's go back to a couple chats, then we'll go back. Terrence, I haven't heard from you in a while. I'm going to bring you up. Renee's work and Quentin, you guys are all coming up. Good start on a Monday, though. Dr. John reminding people to hit that thumbs up. I appreciate you guys. And here's the other thing, man. We've been doing good numbers on this morning program. We're up 238 concurrent viewers on 9 o'clock on a Monday morning. We're having a good little showing here for these these morning shows. Sometimes it's easier to do good numbers in the week on a morning weekday than right after the game. You would think right after the game, everybody's joining in or whatever. People are watching the other games. They're going out with their family after the Notre Dame game. There's a lot of things dividing your attention. I really like these morning shows, man. Couple more chats. We'll go right back to you guys. Right back to you guys. Yeah, it is really frustrating, Pilney. $10 holler. 2 best running backs in the country, and you can't score consistently in the red zone. It's really, really frustrating. I would like to think the offensive line injuries has something to do with this as well. I know it's easy to be like, oh, Denbrock, whatever. But I think, though, the injuries on the O-line have something to do with that as well. And some of the inconsistencies you see at times with the running game where they can't just pound it when they want to. It's harder than it has to be sometimes. And then eventually they pop one. And regarding the Price is Right, getting him back, the narrative in the early part of this season was you're probably going to lose Love to be in a first round, a top 10 draft pick. Can you pay Price to come back and be your number one? Like, how are you going to do that? I think they both might be gone now. So I don't know where that leaves you. Price could win the Iditarod. I don't know how you say that word. How do you say that word? I'm usually so good with vocab. Iditarod? What
the hell is even that?
What do you call it, man? I'm having trouble spitting it out. And then look at this. Even when you give Kent's team credit, he still has a problem with it. So I don't know what to do for you. Even when you give his team credit, there's a problem. Well, I know it's dog sledding, but how do you name the word? I know it's a dog sled. I'm wondering how you pronounce that stupid word I've never said before. I know it's a dog race. How do you say the word? Son of a buck. I know what a dog race is. I don't know how to say the word. Iditarod. There you go. That's all I needed. Thank you. Thank you. And that is also what you guys did on the weekend. Terrence, what's going on? Shout out if you caught that. What's up?
Man, how you doing, John, man?
You know how it's going, man. Everything is everything right now, man. Notre Dame's in a playoff hunt. The drama's heating up. The new playoff rankings are out tomorrow. What do you make of this?
Man, look, John, don't think it, man. This is how I look at it. Alabama has a November loss, and they have a horrible loss. I don't think they would be ranked ahead of Notre Dame, man. I think they'd probably be at 10th and Notre Dame be at 9th.
Yeah, that's the big debate, man. That's the big debate. And then people are trying to figure out, would Notre Dame be better off in the 10 because it would be a more favorable bracket? Like, I don't know. I just want to be in the field, and then you go play a good game and see who you could beat.
Yeah, man. I'd rather just go knock off Oklahoma, and then, hey, we got to play Ohio State, whether it's in the championship game, it's in the semifinals, or it's in the finals. Let's just go get it done, man. I'd rather see them early while Notre Dame is rolling than see them in the national championship game, and then Ohio State got a couple games up under their belt.
Yeah, man. Listen, my position on this is if you lose your first 2 games, you really can't complain. I think you would be lucky as an independent with 2 losses to be in the field at all. I'm not going to complain about the seeding or the ranking. As long as Notre Dame's in, I look at it as a gift that you earned that wasn't always on the table, and you got to take advantage.
I also look at it like this for Bama, man, and I got a lot of family in Tuscaloosa, but I tell them all the time, like, they talk bad about Notre Dame, but you lost to Florida State to begin the season. I don't know how many wins do Florida State got, but they don't have enough. They don't have more wins than Miami, and they damn sure don't have more wins than A&M.
Yeah.
So and they got blew out by Miami. So it doesn't matter, man. You know, I think Bama, man, they put themselves in a tough situation, man, because we never know what might happen in the Iron Bowl, man.
Yeah, that's true. That's a rivalry game. Anything could happen. I believe, is that game it's not at Alabama. I think they're on the road. Am I right about that?
I'm thinking they is in Auburn this year.
Yeah, I think so. So I don't know, man. And then what do you think of Notre Dame's remaining 2 games? Do you feel like they need to impress and blow these teams out? Or do you think they just get in at 10-2, Notre Dame's safe? What are you looking for against Syracuse and Stanford?
Man, you got to at least beat Syracuse and Stanford by at least 20, man. And it's a possibility. We don't know, you know. And then how would you look at it if Oklahoma lost to a 4-loss Texas team? You know, what would you say? You know, would you say, okay, do we put Oklahoma ahead of Notre Dame, or do we put them behind Notre Dame because they lost to one team that's going to get in, and then they lost to another team that's on the cusp of getting in? It all depends on how things shake out.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's going to be interesting. And then I don't know, man. It's Notre Dame is like so fun to watch. And when they have things rolling defensively and they have these stars making plays on offense, it's beautiful. But then these inefficiencies keep creeping up, man. The kicking game's a problem. Short yardage is a problem. Like, people don't like the Carr through a couple bad decisions there. So, like, how do you balance that out? Notre Dame's a flawed team, but also a team that can compete with anybody.
I think on short yardage, man, maybe Denbrock is going to maybe he go to the golf course and say, here, man, call these and I'll be back. I'm on 18. I'm on par 18 right now.
And I don't know. It's just, it's Notre Dame is a flawed team, but damn it, when they play good football, anything could happen. And that's what you want. Get in the playoff, put together a good game. Anything could happen once you're in. You just got to get in and then play good ball, get a little healthier, and go from there.
I'll put it like this, man. I give it 4 teams that can actually win the national championship, man. That's Ohio State. I don't think Indiana is good enough to win a national championship, man. They just beating up on the Big Ten like they did last year. I mean, the Oregon win was a pretty good win. But Georgia, Notre Dame, and maybe Alabama, and that's the only 4 teams I can see that actually could win a national championship, man, this year.
Yeah, it's going to be it's going to be interesting. I don't know, man. I just get in and roll the dice and lay it all out there and see what you could do. But I'm excited, man. Senior Day is going to be exciting. Senior Day at Notre Dame is exciting when the team is still competing nationally. So there still should be some juice, even though it's kind of a somber day. You're hugging your parents, going out there. It's your last game. But there should be some energy here for Syracuse, even without the Steve Bowl.
Yeah, and that's I'm kind of sad because of Steve Angeli, man. He worked hard. I know he never got a chance to be the man at Notre Dame, but the injury to begin the year with, man, it's kind of, I mean, they should still honor Steve just because, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's a shame, man. It would have been nice to see him have a full year, whatever. And I will always appreciate, especially what he did against Penn State. There was a big sequence there that he was navigating to get us in position to be able to win that Penn State playoff game. Anything else, Terrence? It's good to hear from you, buddy. I miss you.
Yeah. Man, that's it, man.
Hey, I appreciate you. Hey, dial up again, man. Hit the link. I appreciate you.
All right, my man.
Have a good Monday, buddy. Oh, crystal clear there. John, it's Pitt. Ha, ha, ha. Like, come on, dude. You got to be trying to boost the listener's ego up. I don't know. You can't win, man. All week I heard Pitt's amazing offense and their quarterback is God. And look at the exciting Pitt offense. And they're going to push Notre Dame. And Pitt could be the team that moves the playoff needle the most with who they could beat and everything it would do. I heard that all week, all the media building up the Pitt narrative. Then Notre Dame beats the crap out of them. It's like, yeah, we knew they sucked. It's like, yeah, that's the way it goes. You build up a team, and then when Notre Dame beats crap out of them, then the narrative's like, yeah, we knew they weren't that good anyways. That Notre Dame defense was bound to smother them. Bro, come on, give a brother a break. You're saying that, kind of. Kent? And bro, I tried to give Ohio State some credit, and Kent was mad about that. I thought you were Notre Dame. You should go. You should be able to want to play anybody, anywhere, whatever. Even when I acknowledge that Ohio State seems to be humming along at a different level right now, that ain't good enough either, Kent. Give me a break. Man, I still would like to see Ohio State play some better competition, but I mean, dang, come on. Quentin, what's up, bro?
Hi, Jen. How you doing?
I'm doing very well, man. I'm just glad Notre Dame was able to beat Pitt, and I'm looking forward to what comes next. What do you make of it?
Oh, I thought that was awesome that Notre Dame defeated Pittsburgh. That was such a great win for them, and I'm happy that they were able to defeat them. And even though Notre Dame needs to improve on things, but I think that they will be able to improve and do better. And I'm confident that they will win the next two games against Syracuse and Stanford and be in the playoffs. I'm happy that Notre Dame is still in playoff contention.
Yeah, I agree. Do you believe just winning and getting in at 10-2 is enough, or do you think Notre Dame needs to pound these remaining two?
Well, I think that Notre Dame being 10-2 will be enough. So they will be able to be in the playoffs, because that would be ridiculous if the committee didn't have Notre Dame be in the playoffs after ending their season 10-2.
Yeah,
Like they should not keep them out of it.
Yeah. Do you think Alabama's going to jump Notre Dame now? I'm expecting Oklahoma to. Do you think Alabama will still remain ahead, or do you think they'll drop a spot below?
My opinion, I think that Alabama will drop below Notre Dame. Even so, I don't think that they're going to be ahead of Notre Dame.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. And then I got to ask you, as a Notre Dame fan, are you rooting for USC this week to knock out Oregon and maybe bump Notre Dame up another spot? Are you looking at that game?
Yeah, I am, John. I'm hoping that USC does defeat Oregon, and then Notre Dame will go up another spot. And it'll be great to see where Notre Dame will be in the rankings.
Yeah, it's going to be a fascinating race down to the wire here. So I don't know, man. I feel good about Notre Dame. They're not a perfect team. There are a lot of flaws. There's things they need to get better at. There's inefficiencies, some ineffectiveness. It's not a complete, well-oiled machine. But damn, all you got to do is fight your way into the playoff, and anything could happen once you get in.
Exactly, because anything could happen for Notre Dame if they get in. And it'll be interesting to see what will happen with Notre Dame.
Yeah, it's going to be a wild race to the finish, man. Anything else on your mind on a Monday morning?
Well, yeah, not much, John. And yeah, go Irish, and yeah, win the last two games and be in the playoffs. And I enjoy watching your show. It's awesome, and God bless you, and go Irish.
Hey, thanks a lot, Quentin. I appreciate it. Hey, I'm sorry I didn't get to you after the game, buddy, but I wanted to bring you up today. Thanks for jumping in.
You're welcome, Jim.
I appreciate it, man. Stick around. Join again. Thanks for being here. Listen, you guys, everybody goes at Kent. Some people block Kent or whatever. Like, he really is a normal, nice guy. I've gotten to know Kent offline a little bit. Like, his troll persona is his troll persona, but he truly is like a smart, normal, nice guy. Like, you can take that or leave it, but like, Kent's not like a troll that just drops in and like nobody knows his deal. I've gotten to know the guy offline through emails through the years. He's a normal guy. He's just, this is the angle. This is his angle. Maddie from California. All I need are some tasty waves, a cool buzz, and I'm fine. I love it. Maddie, I don't know if you were here for it or not. We were debating, are Notre Dame fans in a position to root for USC so they could beat Oregon and then Notre Dame moves up a spot? That's something we've been debating this morning. Like you might have to just root for USC on Notre Dame's behalf here today. I don't know. All right, let's get Renee on the work site real quick, and then we have a couple regulars we're gonna give some time to. So here's Renee on the work site. Made me think of this.
Hey, how's it going? You're working.
You're working. What's up, Renee?
Not much, brother. Just right here enjoying this Monday. It's kind of cloudy, man. It's kind of ugly out here today. See what I mean?
Oh yeah, you
Really,
don't
really
have
ugly and wet.
You don't have that clear blue sky. What's on your mind,
Nah,
bro?
man, I'm wet. Hey, real quick, man, Rodney, man, his call was amazing, man. I really liked it. Like, you want to talk about people talk about. I had a train of thought, and I wanted to stick with it because I get all over the place. So I apologize. Notre Dame has really elite level status, and it has. And the play the other day, and he like, man, put all your chips, go to Vegas, gamble everything away. I was like that for a lot of years, man, because I'm a Notre Dame fan. It's tattooed on my. It literally runs through my veins. John, you see, it's tattooed on me. But as Kelly, as we watched those teams get just annihilated when they got to the big bowls, we just knew, like, man, dude, like, hopefully that doesn't happen again, right? But man, Rodney said it best, man. Like, we have. God, man, come on, stop calling. ¿Qué quieres, cabrón?
What?
I kept it parado como una pinche verga. I keep that up there like a hard on, see what happens. Anyways.
I understand you.
So anyways, but no, man, it's the truth. Like, now we got elite players, man, and it is awesome to watch, man. It's awesome to watch this young defense. And, I'm going to throw a little curveball at the chat here, man. Chris Sims even said it best, man. Man, shout out to Chris Sims, man, on that. Said, man, he's so sick of everybody playing that Notre Dame narrative. Sorry I didn't paint this too, guys. It was raining. I couldn't paint it. He said everybody's spinning that narrative on Notre Dame. If your team's that good, go independent. He said it, man. If you guys watch the broadcast, and even the brother on there too said it too. Like, yeah, man, Notre Dame gets in. They played so great, man, and so elite. I got to watch the highlights and rewatched it, and man, shout out to Chris Sims on that, man, giving us that credit about our schedule. Hey, dude, these like I said, these alignments, the realignment just happened 2 years ago, so they can set the schedule the way they want, man. Ours is set years in advance because everybody lines up to play, whether you want to disagree or agree. And as far as the CFP, John, come on. You're not a clickbaiter, brother. You're not a clickbaiter show. We got everybody's man crush of a coach. You say it best. Mothers love him. The camera loves to be on Freeman. They're gonna put us in at 10-2. Where? I don't know. Hey, you like the way I was trolling that Alabama show? They're so delusional, man. They were so delusional. None of them came back on me on everything I threw at them. Hey, for Adam 415 in California, and John, fun fact. Did you guys know that Eddie DeBartolo Jr., the owner to the Frisco 49ers all those years, he's a Notre Dame grad? Did you know that?
I think I knew that, but forgot that.
Brother, I didn't know that up until, like, I was doing some research on things because I know you like numbers. But the proven, dude, we win. Notre Dame jeans just wins, brother. The subway line just wins. Like, look at me. I came here and redid this whole damn job site because you guys can't pull their head out their ass. But, man, CFP 10-2, we're in. Them Alabama fans, bro, they're so delusional. We beat the SEC's finest in their own backyard. No one's played Texas A&M better than we have. I mean, we go anywhere. We go into this packed house at Texas A&M last year. We've done it all, man. We have a few slip-ups here and there, but man, I'm not worried about none of it all. The what I am worried about, though, is the short yardage and the kicking. But even then, on that chat, John, they were so delusional. These EBT using trailer park living, and whatever, man. They were so delusional on the kicker, the kicker, the kicker. We don't have a kicker. We don't have a kicker. And our kicker last year didn't show up until the playoff. And how do we do it? That's right, because we're Notre Dame, homie, and you're not. You know what I'm saying, John? Hey, and that kid, he better stop throwing those interceptions. You guys can give him the excuse that he's a freshman. He's freshman. Maurice Corrett was a freshman. Trevor Lawrence was a freshman. Benjamin Morrison was a freshman. Hey, dude, I can go down the list and I'm just quarterback position. I get it. But hey, he's 10 games in. He's 10 games in. He comes from good pedigree. He's been playing scout team against the best defensive backs in the country 2 years. Hey, no more interceptions. John, I love you. That's my thoughts this Monday. Hey, man, we're there. I look forward to that Ohio State Notre Dame rematch, man. You know what I mean? Shout out to Kent. I know he's a good guy. You got to give it to him. We haven't beaten him 100 years, but I got to get going, John. I love you guys, man. Onward Notre Dame, baby.
Have a good one, man. Behave out there. Wait, I haven't mentioned this guy's beard in a whole calendar year. Give me a damn break. I haven't mentioned that thing in a year. Good morning, Pat.
Good morning, John. How are you?
What do you make of everything?
First, I caught a little bit of gruff from some people after my recap on Saturday. I'm not down on the team. I'm actually very high on the team, but there are some serious issues with this football team, and they need to be addressed. But a game like Saturday is the perfect way to address those. So people thinking that I'm down on the team, I'm not. I'm very, very high on the way this football team is working out. I do, however, see a concern in the CFP for Notre Dame, and I don't know what it's going to lead up to. I don't know how it's going to break out, but I do see a concern. First off, I do think Alabama, even if Alabama doesn't drop below Notre Dame, so let's say Notre Dame holds let's say Notre Dame drops back to 10, right? And Texas is at 8, or I'm sorry, Oklahoma is at 8 and Alabama is at 9, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Alabama plays Eastern Illinois this weekend. When
It's going to be a barn burner.
Yeah. When Ole Miss played the Citadel, they actually knocked Ole Miss back a ranking after the Citadel game. So when Alabama beats Eastern Illinois, and I know quite a bit about Eastern Illinois, it's not going to be much of a football game. The legend of Tony Romo will not live. I could actually foresee Notre Dame jumping back in front of Alabama after this weekend when Notre Dame beats Syracuse. So that is a good sign. Here's the problem. Texas still plays Texas A&M. How far does Texas drop after getting beat by the number 5 team in the country? Texas has 3 losses. If Texas beats Missouri, which Missouri's a quality team, I would say it's not ranked, but they're probably they're a better win point than Syracuse or Stanford. And then they play Texas. Then they play Texas A&M. If they beat Texas A&M and give them 1 loss, does Notre Dame drop out or drop back again for Texas? Like, how do you tell a 3-loss Texas team that beat the number 3 team in the country on the last weekend of the year that they are not deserving? If they're a top 15 team, which Texas probably will be somewhere in the top 15 still, how do you tell them they're not deserving? If especially Notre Dame has to worry if Michigan beats Ohio State again.
Yeah.
Where did that fall? And you have another problem. USC, while USC should help Notre Dame, they have Oregon. If they beat Oregon, and then I would think if Oregon loses, they're out, because then they're eliminated from the college, they're eliminated from the Big Ten. So it's probably not that big of a deal if USC beats Oregon from Notre Dame's perspective. But Texas beating Texas A&M, Michigan beating Ohio State creates a very, very big problem for Notre Dame, I think. Now, because then you have the group of 5 conference champion. I don't think, I'm not worried about Miami, because Miami's not going to make the championship game for the ACC, and they've already said Miami is not one of those top teams.
And there's those teams in between Notre Dame and Miami too that they have to work through. Okay, can I push back a little bit?
Yeah, go ahead.
No team, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't believe any team has made the playoff field with 3 losses yet.
Right.
That would be a
But this is only
big,
the second year of it. So
that would be a big
but
change.
the if you look back last year, and I'll
Three's a lot. Three's a lot of losses.
Three's a lot of losses. But if wins, you talk about losses in November matter. Wins against the number 3 ranked team in the country don't. So if you go back to the last week of last year, the first team out was a 9-3 Alabama.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
and then you had a 10-2 Miami and a 9-3 Ole Miss all sitting there. So that makes me nervous. That makes me nervous. And we can't say, well, a 3 has never made it. Well, I mean, it's only the second year of the 12-team playoff.
Yeah,
so,
just so you know, the chat's against you. Everybody's saying you're off on this, and 3 losses, they're done. And that's before you even address the likelihood of them beating that team. But if
they have to beat them for sure. They lose to them, none of this matters. But are you going to tell Michigan if they beat Ohio State that they're not in? And are you going to tell Texas after they beat Texas A&M they're not in? Like, how do you square that? I mean, I can say all day that I believe Notre Dame is still the best 10-2 team in the country, but there's a committee out there making these decisions. And when how can Texas loses to the number 1 team in the country, they lose to the number 5 team in the country, right? That's their losses, and then they had a bad loss in there, right? They had Was it not? Was it Florida? Right. Who almost beat Ole Miss. So, like, is the loss to Florida worse than Notre Dame's loss to Miami?
Yeah.
And Notre Dame losing to Texas A&M, well, Texas beating Texas A&M, a team Notre Dame lost to, does that not have any weight? Like, I mean, these games are played. Notre Dame has a resume to stack against this. And how can you say Texas losing to the number 1 team and the number 5 team for 2 of their 3 losses and then beating the number 3 team doesn't matter? I'm not saying this is what's going to happen. I get why people, like, you could say Texas is done. That's fine. I am not saying Notre Dame is going to get knocked out by a 3-loss Texas team who beats Texas A&M. I'm not saying that. I'm just introducing the scenario of something to worry about. We know the TV wants the SEC in there. We know ESPN wants the SEC in there. They got that contract. They want the Big Ten in there. They want those 2 conferences well represented in the playoff. Notre Dame also sells tickets, so the playoff wants Notre Dame there. But at what point do you have to draw that line? So I don't know what's going to happen. This has way more nuance than last year. Last year seemed pretty clear cut with the way the schedules fell out. This one doesn't.
Well, and especially with Notre Dame having 1 loss, that changed the whole thing right there.
Correct.
Too.
Correct.
Yeah, not 2.
So I'm just presenting scenarios here. I don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, I want Notre Dame to make the playoff, but this is different. This is different. And a 3-loss Alabama was the first team out last year. So I don't want Notre Dame fans to get too comfortable. Now, I also think that watching this committee, Notre Dame is clearly high on their valuation. Okay. So it makes it harder for me to believe that they would knock out Notre Dame for a 3-loss Texas or a Michigan team that upsets Ohio State. But they obviously had Pitt rated high. So people that are underscoring beating Pitt, that's not the way the committee looked at it. They may reevaluate it, but they're reevaluating off of Notre Dame dominating Pitt. So Notre Dame has a very quality win, and I actually think Navy sneaks into the top 25 this week at 25, and that gives Notre Dame another quality win. and then Pitt has a Georgia Tech. I think Pitt pays Georgia Tech to kind of cement it for Notre Dame if they could win that game. So Notre Dame has plenty of data points, but their data points are against like teams that are 23, 24, 25. We're talking about Alabama and Michigan and Texas and USC who have the opportunity to be top 5 teams, top 10 teams. Where do you weigh those at?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to look at it. So
yeah, and how do you win? How do you weigh wins versus bad losses, and some of them coming later in the year? I always wonder that balance too, of like your quality wins versus like a bad loss late in the year. What weighs out more? I don't know.
Right. Exactly. And I don't know either. So I think if Notre Dame comes in at 10, I'm less worried. I am less worried because I think Notre Dame will go back in front of Alabama after they play Eastern Illinois. I wouldn't even be surprised if Notre Dame is ahead of Alabama. But I'm looking at this. I'm just looking at these schedules and I'm looking to see who they play. And it's very, very worrisome. I would feel way more comfortable if Notre Dame was at 6 or 7, or really comfortable if Notre Dame had 1 loss. But this is the boat we're in. And I don't see them right now kicking a team out of the playoff that doesn't lose.
Yeah.
Like Notre Dame doesn't get kicked out. How do you kick a team out that you said has earned it, that has continued to win?
Yeah.
But some of these data points, they make me nervous. That's all it is.
Like, you have a good point. If you had a team in there because they're playing good football and you value that and they continue to play equally good football, how does it make sense?
Does that make sense?
And then here's what it comes down to is it's just like all the Twitter garbage. You could pick any set of statistic you want to arrive at the conclusion you want in your mind and heart. You could backwards do the equation and then show the data points that arrive at the conclusion you want, and conveniently ignore a whole nother data point set that is on the other side of it. So then it depends on what data set is the committee leaning on. So far, it's been whatever they're using has been a pro Notre Dame data set. Do we agree on that? I think that's helpful.
Yeah, for sure. And again, at the end of the day, it's Notre Dame is in. So even with Oklahoma and Alabama, the game coming out the way it did, like I said before, we want Alabama to beat Oklahoma. We're in. Oklahoma has some tough games too. Oklahoma's not out of the woods yet. They got Missouri and LSU. So the Missouri is the perfect. It is a 11 a.m. start at Oklahoma after this big win on the road. That is a sleep game. That's a sleepy game.
And the LSU game is weird because they have talent, but everything's goofy because of the coaching change. But that's a program that has talent. If you're not ready, they could beat you. That's a hell of a closing game, by the way. That's a really good final matchup.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Sure.
So
and then Texas.
When you
none of this can matter if Texas A&M wins. So that
when you start out 0-2 the way Notre Dame did, I think it's a blessing to be where we're at now in this position because it was looking very dire for you. And I'm not complaining that much about what happened. You started out 0-2 and couldn't play any defense. This is as good as you could ask for that start.
Yeah, for sure. I think this weekend, if you're a Notre Dame fan, you're a huge fan of USC because I think that just helps you. That just helps you. They beat Oregon. That's a solid for you. They eliminate someone in front of you, and you already beat them. So there's no reason that doesn't help you. And then for next weekend, I think you got to be an Ohio State fan. I really do. It's the way that's coming out. And then your Pitt fans the rest of it. I'm sorry, the Pitt doesn't play Georgia Tech. They play Miami next week.
Yeah.
Georgia Tech has to play Georgia. So that's the way. I always cheer against USC, but we've never had the situation where Notre Dame needs USC to win.
It would lock
to make
Notre
the playoff.
Dame
like
in,
there's a difference here.
It just sucks that game's at our exact time window too, because it's going to be hard to pay attention.
Well, I got a girls' seventh grade basketball game at that time, so I'm gonna miss it. I'm gonna be sitting in the stands watching it on my phone.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Hey Pat, thanks for joining on a Monday morning. I got Tom. We're gonna see what Tom thinks, and I got a couple others here. Thanks for jumping in on a Monday, buddy.
Yep. Later.
Stay off that roof. Just ND Gal, good to see you. The SEC teams playing FCS this late in the season should all get big demerits. Man, it is tough. Some of what's going on there is a tough look. Scooby-Doo, what's up with you? Welcome.
Oh, that's a good one. I love that. Hey, John, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Just excited to be at this part of the year, and Notre Dame's in the mix, baby.
I hear you. I feel like Notre Dame is going to get into the playoffs. I know the last caller, very smart, by the way. I love him. Great call. I do think that he's pointing out a little bit things that don't really matter, but at the end of the day, it kind of does matter, if that makes sense to you, John.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like Pat was digging deep there on some really existential, bigger picture things that could change the dynamic. Hey, don't lose 2 games and you're not in this position. That is my default. I am not complaining about where we're ranked because you can't lose 2 games and then complain about anything as an independent.
Yes, and if you want to lose 2 games, make sure you do it at the beginning of the season, just like y'all did.
Hey, if Notre Dame was if you told me they're going to drop 2 games no matter what, those were the 2 games to drop. Those were the scores to drop them by, and those were the right teams to drop them by, relatively speaking. If you were going to drop 2, you did it the right damn way.
Yep, you're right. But hey, John, I called in for 2 reasons. One, to give you hell, but I promise I'll be gentle. And the other reason, I'll start with that first, is the Heisman candidates. Who do you think? I don't know how many go to New York. Maybe is it 4 or 5? Like either way, who do you think deserves to go to New York?
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be quarterback heavy. Like, who's the favorite? Is it Mendoza, the Indiana guy? Like, I don't even know who's the favorite, but like, isn't it going to be quarterbacks? And then I would like to see Love get an invite. He ain't going to win it, but get the guy to New York.
Okay, so Jordan Love, I completely understand that. I know it's always Irish, but I am a Georgia fan. I found your channel way before Lou and Pete had you on. I'm the one that recommended them to you to add you on the Lunch Money show. I don't know if you remember that a couple years ago. But so talking about Jordan Love, like he's not deserving, blah blah blah. Do you think Gunnar Stockton deserves a little bit of love?
I can't even tell you that I've ever given him much of a thought, man. Like that's off my radar. I can't even say that I've given that a look.
Well, if you look up like the QBRs, like you don't have to do it now or anything, but if you look up the QBRs, like it goes to Indiana quarterback, the OSU Julian Sayin, and then it goes Gunnar Stockton for QBRs. I don't know. I feel like he's not getting a lot of love. I know it's always Irish, and we're supposed to be talking about Irish stuff, but I thought I might give you a little curveball here, so I apologize for that.
Yeah, I can't say that I've given it much thought separating between those quarterbacks, other than I'm pushing for Jeremiah Love to at least get a little bit of respect. Time out for a second. Commander Luke. Well, I see it's the same 4 to 5 callers getting through on this channel. Luke, again, you have a habit of picking the information that is in your head and ignoring everything else. On the post-game show, I went out of my way to include every single new caller that I did not recognize their handle. Today has featured multiple people that were first-time callers on this show. What you are saying is absolutely not true. Okay, back to you, Scooby.
And just to add on that, John, I literally clicked the StreamYard link about 7 minutes ago and got on the call. So if you want to join the call, don't be scared. Just join the StreamYard link. But anyway, John, okay, here's the ladder. I'm gonna give it to you.
Okay.
I don't think Notre Dame deserves a spot because they're not in a conference. And I know you hear this all the time, and I bet you're tired of hearing it. But you can't lose 2 games and then go to the playoffs. So I would love to hear your argument or rebuttal against it.
So, okay, what about Is it the nature of the week-to-week schedule you have a problem with, or are you going with like the conference championship angle? Because there has been and will be a lot of teams that weren't involved in those championship games from conferences that make it. So, like, what is that based on? Do you not believe their schedule warrants it as an independent? Because you can't really lean on conference championships because there's been teams that made it without winning that or being involved in it before. So, what's your angle against it?
Okay, so I'm a little bit biased, and my my argument is completely biased because I think that teams should join a conference. They shouldn't be uh you shouldn't be able to make your schedule like, hey, I want to play these 6 or 5 ACC teams and then play these horrible teams like Navy. I feel like there should be a conference. And if you lose 2 games in a conference,
by the way, Navy's in position to maybe claim that non-group of 4 bid, by the way. So that terrible Navy team just beat South Florida, who is the favorite to get that spot. So Navy isn't exactly the easiest thing to just wash away there.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, John. We all know it's Navy.
And also, we do not. Here's the problem I have with the argument. I like this call, though. I like the debate. Here's the
and
other
I'm trying
thing.
to be respectful. I'm trying to
I
learn,
love it.
You know?
No, this is
Okay.
juicy. I love it. Here's what I'm going to say, though. Sometimes people speak of that independent schedule as if Notre Dame gets to pick those teams 2 days before the season and make it as easy as possible. We don't pick the ACC teams. Those are in a rotation with the conference, and all the other games are set up many years in advance. And so, but sometimes it's like, oh, Notre Dame gets to handpick the worst teams 2 days before the season to line up and play. Like, we've had multiple years where we had what should have been good teams on the schedule, and they end up being bad football teams. That's not Notre Dame's fault. Multiple times we had Florida State on there and they didn't hold up their end of the deal. That's not our fault. You have USC on there when they've been down. That's not Notre Dame's fault. So it's like, I don't know, man. They don't pick them 2 days before.
Yeah, I understand that. And even when y'all did join the ACC for that 2020 year, y'all basically won it. I mean, I know it came down to the wire with Clemson, but y'all stood y'all's ground and basically demolished the whole conference. So I'm not taking anything away from Notre Dame. I just want them to join a conference just as a college football fan.
Why?
As a college football fan.
But like, why does it matter? Why do you care? Like, if you're people are like, join a conference, and I'll say, why?
Okay.
Like,
well,
what's your reaction?
Okay,
Is it not fair? Like, why? Why do you want Notre Dame to do? Do you feel like it's just not fair?
Well, I don't want to say it's not fair. I don't want to sound like a 12-year-old, but I mean, okay. So last year, when I think it was South Carolina went 10-2 and didn't get into the college football playoffs, and Notre Dame did. Like, but I'm saying Notre Dame is 10. If they go 10-2, I'm pretty sure they will. But they're going to get in. But they didn't get to play in a conference championship game and probably lose like they did in the ACC when the COVID year happened, and that would drop them out. Do you y'all don't have a conference game?
Where that falls short is you have to have you should be against all the other conference teams then that don't make the conference championship. Should be in the exact same position as Notre Dame.
Yeah, but you got to also
because you're hinging on the conference championship. What about all the other conference teams that are going to be in this field that aren't going to make that game?
Okay, well, let's look at Ole Miss. Ole Miss is probably a lock for the playoffs. Do you agree with John?
Probably.
Yeah, but you got to look at their schedule, though. Their strength of schedule. The College Football Committee has came out and said the strength of schedule matters. Correct?
Yeah, but they change the metrics all the time of what matters the most. Like that's a frustration that I have. A frustration I have with the committee is depending on the conference and the team in the week, they change their arguments for and against people, and it's very hard to follow. The lack of consistency seems to bother me.
Yeah, you know when I lost respect for the College Football Committee is when they didn't put FSU undefeated in the SEC because they, quote-unquote, lost their starting quarterback. I know he was a crucial player for the team, but you can't put an undefeated team won the ACC championship and then put them outside of the playoffs. That was back when it was 4.
Yeah.
But
I got a problem. I got a problem with you leaning on the conference championship crutch, but letting all the other teams get away with it. And then we're just going to say it's an SEC schedule, therefore it must be tougher than anything Notre Dame does every year. Is that the argument?
Well, I think it's a valid argument, John, because the SEC is. Do you agree that the SEC is the best conference?
I think this is complicated. With the expanded SEC, there are some teams that I think have a lighter schedule and some that get nailed. I actually think the expansion of that conference makes it harder to make that argument because I see some teams that seem to get away with an easy schedule now that there's so many round robin teams, and then other teams that seem to play a ranked team every week. So I actually think the expansion has watered down some of those SEC schedules, and certain teams get nailed with them. It's inconsistent.
That does make sense. That does make sense. But you have to look at like teams like Vanderbilt. Last year, I hate keep going back to COVID years and last year, but I mean, Bama lost to Vanderbilt last year. They almost lost to them this year. And I'm sorry to, I will say it again. I'm sorry to keep it off of Notre Dame, but
no, I like
just
this.
I love talking to you, and I love watching all your videos. So I just wanted to pick your brain a little bit. But yeah, I just think that I don't know. The Big Ten right now is really, really bad. I think noon kickoff is horrible. What they have last week, Northwestern versus Michigan, it was horrible. Like, but what I'm trying to say is like, do you think like a Vanderbilt? Do you think a Vanderbilt? I think they're sitting at 3 losses right now. Do you think they deserve a spot over Notre Dame?
No,
With the
you're
schedule that they play?
Vanderbilt. You're Vanderbilt, and you have 3 losses. No, you're done.
But with the schedule they play.
Don't lose 3 games.
Well, okay, that's why I'm getting.
You could do this all day, man. Like before you know
Okay.
it, you want a 4-loss team in there because they're in a good conference. Like you, at some point, you do have to like win some games.
I want to make this very clear to you, John, and all the viewers. I am not a SEC homer. Every time I say I play a SEC team as a Georgia fan, I want them to lose. I wanted Ohio State to beat Texas. I am not a SEC homer like all these internet typing warriors are. But I do think it's unfair. Like, say if let's just give Notre Dame and Vanderbilt example this year. Okay, so Vanderbilt is 9-3, sitting at the end of the year. Well, whatever their record, 3 losses, right, John?
Yeah.
And they're not able to make the SEC championship.
Okay.
Do you think Notre Dame gets above them?
Yeah, don't lose 3 games.
Okay. All right.
Like you gotta don't lose 3 games. And then let me flip this. Let me flip this on you. Here's something else I've always brought up. For all these people that think the independence is so easy and it's such a joke and you could schedule your own soft whatever and you don't have to risk losing in a conference title game or whatever. Why don't more teams go independent then? Like, if it genuinely is that big of an advantage, I'm wondering why more programs don't do it.
Money.
Like, go ahead and do it.
Contract.
Get your own TV deal. Figure out how to schedule people. Pay yourself. Realize you're not getting a conference dividend and you don't need it and you can pay for yourself and then do it. So, like, why don't more teams do that if it's such an advantage?
Money and contracts. It all boils down to money, John.
And that is the correct answer. And my response to that is like, not my problem. Like, there's probably a handful of teams that could do it the way Notre Dame does. They are an outlier, but it's like, if other teams can't afford to do that, life's not fair, man. Like, there are negatives to being an independent too, man. You don't get guaranteed TV money every year. If you fail, you fail. If you don't make the playoff, you don't get any money. There's no revenue to share. Like, there are downsides to independence too. It isn't all just easy.
Yep. Well, John, I won't keep you any longer.
Don't lose 3 games. That's my bottom line, man. Don't lose 3 games. That's too many. That's too many.
3 games is way too many.
3.
And I'm a SEC. I'm a Georgia guy. Like I said again, I'm a SEC. I'm not a homer or anything, but all these people talking about Texas getting in the playoffs at 3 losses are full of shit. Excuse my language.
Yeah, well, so then you're with me. Don't lose 3.
Well, John, you just might have steered me in the right direction. Maybe
Right?
maybe
Like,
Notre Dame maybe Notre
I
Dame
just
does
think
deserve a spot.
I just think 3's a lot, man. That's a quarter of your games you're losing, man. That's a lot.
I hear you. Okay, John. Well, I'll let you go. I've always wanted to call in. This is the first time. My baby's sick, so I had to stay with her tonight.
Hey,
Today.
Scooby, I got to tell you, man, I appreciate the call. I like mixing it up. That's something different. I appreciate it. The chat's giving you a hard time, but I like it. Yeah,
Yeah,
wait a second.
I was gonna say. I bet the chat's roasting me right
Wait.
now, but that's okay. I mean, you can only have like conversations about college football in a civil way, and that's what I was trying to do. So if they want to give me a hard time, then that's fine.
No, I appreciate it, man. Hey, thanks for jumping in, though. I appreciate you. Have a good one. Now, wait a second. Does Vandy have 3 or 2? He was saying Vandy has 3. Do they only have 2 losses? Am I losing my mind? Don't lose 3 games. I don't think you could start getting into where you have a 12-game season and you lose a quarter of them and you're like, we still deserve it. Don't lose 3. Don't lose 3. Tom, what's going on?
Wow, there are a lot of mathematics this morning. All the what if scenarios. Look, I that's not why I wanted to call. I wanted to dive into something else because look, you're right. Don't lose 3 games. Don't lose 2 games. Going forward from this season, I really believe that now there's a way that they're talking about the college football playoff committee going forward will accept 3-loss SEC teams to kind of make up for a Notre Dame 2-loss team. Well, for Notre Dame going forward, just to stop all the hand wrangling and the arguing and the Notre Dame hate, they can only lose 1 game. That's basically, you know, and you know that, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not worried about that so much. The thing that, you know, and that last caller just threw me for a loop. I wanted to fire on him so badly, but I'm not going to because he seems like a gentleman. But look, Notre Dame stands alone, and this is what they'll never understand. So when the breakup of the television contract in college football happened in 1982 and into 1983, and what do I mean by that? Back then, ABC ruled the college football world. So you could only be on one nationally televised broadcast, and you could be on a regionally televised broadcast up to 3 times a year, right? So even down in the SEC, big football country, they had television contracts going back then. They had a deal with Jefferson Pilot, which was a syndicating, it's a television syndication company. Jefferson Pilot would sell SEC games to like WGN in Chicago, for instance, or WFLD, you know. And then
Tom, real quick, do something with your audio. You're cracking. It sounds bad today. I don't know what happened.
Hold on a minute. I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me get through this. How's that? Better?
Yeah, way better.
I'm sorry about that. But anyway, long story short, you know, when they broke up the television contract, it was, and you know who started it? Was Bo Schembechler at Michigan. And he had a fight with the Big Ten because they knew that's where college was going. So they set up a team. And this was when you still had a bunch of independents like Penn State and Notre Dame. I can't remember who the other obviously the service academies, but whoever else was independent back in those days, they set up the College Football Association, the CFA.
Mm-hmm.
That's what broke the first ESPN, CBS college football contract. So back to that Georgia fan's point. Yeah, it is about money, right? But, you know, being an independent, Notre Dame is the only independent that could start their own television network. And they think they should. After this NBC contract is over with. I really believe they should and they could. In 1969, 68 and 69, CBS and NBC came to Notre Dame to try and televise all their games exclusively, home and road. And Father Hesburgh and Joyce said no at that point because they didn't want to look like hogs. So now we're talking about money that the SEC gets and why they play. Well, look, you talk about that's all they do is they play their big games. You see who Alabama's playing next week. Your Fighting Panthers of Eastern Illinois.
Yeah,
Woo-hoo!
wild.
So, they just love to pile on and hate Notre Dame. And I'm here for it. I'm here for all the hate. I love when they hate on us, which leads me into our season, right? So when you're going on this upward trajectory of Notre Dame and you could see where we're going, we've taken that next step. We've got gap closing talent and there's more coming. And I just think, at 10-2, I still think we're going to purport ourselves better. We'll represent ourselves better at 10-2 than a lot of teams would at with the same record or even 11-1 because of some of the other Power 4 schools, the P4 schools and their conferences. It's they say we don't play anybody. Oh, okay. Well, let's just strap it up. We'll get into the playoff. I think Indiana's going to get exposed. I really do. I think Ole Miss is fair to partly cloudy. I think Alabama is very beatable. So who's left standing? Georgia's a pretty good squad. Georgia's got a little more edge to them this year than they did last year. And then of course Ohio State. I mean, those receivers alone, and that kid could throw the football. Yeah. They're going to win. They're worth 12. They're worth 10 to 12 points a game, just on that alone. So where does Notre Dame fit in? Can Notre Dame compete with every one of them? Yes, they can, and that's because of the way the defense is playing now. And I didn't think I was going to say that 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
4 weeks ago. Definitely not the beginning of the season. And then the other thing was the screen passes, John. So we talked about the screen passes, and I went back and I watched excerpts from every game last night. And I even went back to the Penn State and Georgia game last year. The offense was a lot different. I seriously believe in my heart of hearts that Denbrock is playing possum. I don't, there's so many things because it's maddening. Why are they running that tunnel screen again? Now, they're not running bubble screens. They're running tunnel screens, throwing out to either Faison or the wide receiver, and it gets blown up every time. What I want to see is that screen pass to Jeremiah Love like they did in the USC game last year. Remember when he went down the sidelines and hurdled that guy? That was off of a screen pass. So that's why I believe that Denbrock is laying in the weeds. He's playing possum and he's holding stuff just for the playoffs. He figures, let's just run this 11 and 12 personnel.
What about goal line? Tom,
I know.
He let them fail at the goal line all year, holding it back for the playoff?
You know what? I know it sounds ridiculous, but there's also sometimes coaches are really stubborn. They think it's going to work and they're going to go to the wall and keep going to the wall until it works, right?
Yeah.
But there's a tweak. So, look what he did with CJ Carr when he ran that touchdown in on Saturday. The last time CJ Carr did that was in the Miami game and Texas A&M. But they didn't run it in between. Why not? Everybody thinks he's slow of foot. He's not slow of foot. He can run that play.
Yeah.
So I think Denbrock threw that back in there to let the world know, you know what? So I still think they are going to run screen passes. I hope they get rid of that tunnel screen, especially the way CJ can put touch on the ball and high point that ball to Malachi Fields. boy, was he a catch.
Yeah.
Talk
this
about
is-
a pickup.
Yeah.
I mean,
this is,
and that's a guy that can win a game for you.
it's going to be interesting.
And then they
Tom,
finally started
are
to
you going to
throw
go to the
to
Syracuse game?
Eli
Last-
Reardon on Saturday. So there's going to be things that I see them lining up in the heavy personnel. When they line up in a heavy personnel and goal line, you can put James Flanagan has been getting reps at tight end as a blocking tight end. You can use the 2 tight ends, or you can use the 2 running backs on the goal line. And all of a sudden, they're a very different team. They did it against Penn State, and they did it against Georgia. Let's see what happens when they get in the playoffs. They just have to take care of business next 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's man, it's going to be interesting, Tom. Hey, God bless you. Have a good one. Have a good Monday morning in the city.
I lost you there.
I'll see you on Patreon tonight, Tom. You're having audio issues. He's having audio issues. I don't know what to tell you. A Tomcast would be awesome, man. The Notre Dame stuff that goes through that guy's head is unbelievable. All I'm saying here is, sorry, Pat, I missed that. He got out. Tom is the same guy that said Lenny should be the quarterback. I know what he meant to say, but dude, how awesome would it be if Notre Dame had a quarterback named Lenny? Like, I just want Notre Dame's quarterback in a modern era, his name to be Lenny. I just think that'd be awesome. I know what he meant to say, but it'd be funnier if his name was Lenny. Wait a second, I didn't miss nothing, did I? Where is it? Swan Dong? What did I miss? Is this the one JD could win the Iditarod? He certainly could. He was pulling that guy. Damn it. I like it. All right, you guys, I got to get going. Jay Anderson, I think you're the only one I couldn't get on. You jumped on late. I'm sorry I can't get to you this time. Try again on Wednesday. And I mean, I know it's tough. People are working and they're busy and all that stuff on a Monday morning. Thank you guys for being here. Really juicy. Yeah, Lenny from Motorhead. That's one of the only Lennys I know. Don't leave us, John. I got stuff to do. Come on. I missed a $10 super chat. I'm usually pretty good with all these. WPP, is that the one I missed? This argument has gotten silly. No team that loses 3 games should have any shot at winning a title. It's never happened before, and it shouldn't happen now. So you're talking, you could argue 25% of your games you can't lose and then say you deserve a chance at a championship. What if it's the toughest schedule in America? Like, as a theoretical, what if it's the toughest schedule in America and you lose 3 games, but another team loses 2, but they have a schedule that isn't in the top 50 or something? Does that change? Does that change you? Does it change the way you think? Pat Cotter's saying, I don't disagree with him, but I am not running the committee. So again, some of that is, it isn't Pat saying, this is what I think. He's saying, you got to think about what they're going to think. Man, it gets complicated. What about Lenny from Laverne and Shirley? Man, you're going back now. Wasn't that the 80s? Was that the 70s? Or was Laverne and Shirley like the late 80s? Man, I'm getting old that I even know these shows. All right, I love you guys. And thanks for being here. A lot of juice on a Monday morning, and the energy's building towards this playoff. We'll see you on Monday Night Raw tonight. Link in the description. Thanks for the donation. Thanks for the chat. Thanks for the call. We'll see you on Raw tonight, and then we'll see what the committee does tomorrow. Take care. Thanks for being here.